Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending my live today. As many of you know, I've been holding webinars and these lives monthly so that I could better explain requirements for the EB1A visa and the NIW visa. And I started doing these webinars and recordings and lives so that I could provide more accurate information based on experience. Because as I've been doing consultations, I just noticed over the years, I've always noticed there's just so much misinformation out there about these two types of visas, particularly. Okay, so let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk about the key differences between the NIW visa and the EB1A visa. So let's pull up a really quick PowerPoint that I put together. And I want to talk about three key differences. Of course, there's just so many. They're in two entirely different visas with different requirements. And as I mentioned, when I do consultations, people seem to mush the two together because they do require a higher level of skills and ability, and they are self-petitioned. So let's move to the next slide. Let me introduce myself. My name is Priya Alagiri. I am the founder, the CEO of the Alagiri Immigration Law Firm. I started the firm more than 15 years ago, and we focus on EB1A visas and the National Interest Waiver visa. We are a boutique firm, meaning we aren't volume. We are very case specific. We have a customized approach. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for 15 years, and me and my firm are proud to have won like thousands of cases. And these cases are really very near and dear to me, as I am also come from an immigrant family. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so for those who don't know, I wanted to provide just a very quick overview of the EB1A visa and the NIW visa. I have done previous sessions and have recordings solely on each of these visas. So if you wanted more information, you contact my office or DM me, and we could definitely provide you the recordings that provide much more information on each of these. So the EB1A visa, very briefly, is for non-citizens who have extraordinary ability in these five fields: sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. You must demonstrate that you have extraordinary ability through sustained national or international acclaim. And the way you do that is by meeting at least 3 of the 10 regulatory requirements, or have a one-time huge achievement, like a Oscar or gold medal or something like that. Again, this is a very brief overview for those who aren't familiar with this visa. The second one, move back, is the NIW. So very, very briefly, the NIW visa is for individuals who have advanced degrees or exceptional ability. Applicants must demonstrate that their work or field of endeavor benefits the U.S. And has merit and importance to the U.S. and its citizens. And then finally, applicants also have to show that not only does their work, have importance to the US, but also that they are the ones who should do that work. Okay, so again, a very, very brief overview just for people who aren't familiar with either of these visas. Okay, so let's move on and talk about like the primary differences between the two. So the first, which is really critical, is the visa category that each of these visas falls under. So the EB1A is under the first preference category. And as you know, some of you may know, there's about 5 or so visa categories, and the EB1A is at the top. It's the first category. It's very popular, the first preference category, because of the reduced wait times to qualify for, to be eligible to apply for a green card. It's a much faster route. The national interest waiver visa is in the second preference category. So, as I said, there are several categories. There's the EB1A visa at the top, first category. Then below that, it's the very, very popular second preference category. And most of you, if you have gone through the PERM process or an employment-based process, you will very likely be in the second or third employment-based category. So the national interest waiver, is really important to know, is although it's an exception from some of the requirements of the second preference category, it's still within it. So you would fall under those EB2 priority dates. Okay, difference number 2. Let's move the slide. Okay, education level. Very important to know, the EB1A visa does not require a minimum education level. So there's no requirement at all. But the national interest waiver does. So if you're interested in national interest waiver visa, you must have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of progressive experience, or in the alternative, you have to demonstrate exceptional ability in the sciences, arts, or business. If there is some flexibility in the NIW visa with regard to education, one or the other, but you do have to have some form of experience and achievements. And that's also the case with the EB1A, but we don't have to prove any type of education for the EB1A visa. Okay. And difference number 3. Okay, so as I said, when I do these consultations, I notice, people kind of mush the NIW requirements with the EB1A requirements. And again, we need to keep them separate. They're 2 separate visas with different requirements. Significantly, so the national interest waiver, or the NIW visa, requires demonstrating that your work, or we call it your field of endeavor, will benefit the U.S. It's important to the U.S. to have someone like you with your skill set, your achievements, performing that particular type of work in the U.S. The EB1A has no such requirements. You don't have to show that your work benefits the U.S. at all. There's no importance. However, for both of them, you do have to demonstrate that you have the qualifications to qualify. So they both require achievements. The national interest waiver does not require the level of achievements as the EB1A. So the national interest waiver is, you have to be above average to demonstrate that you are the best person to carry out your work in the US, whereas the EB1A, you have to show that you are in the top percentage in your field. You have extraordinary skill set. So that is a very, very brief overview of the two visas. Again, I have done entire sessions on the EB1A visa. I've done entire sessions on the NIW, and I wanted to do this one again because, as I said, people seem to think they're the same thing. Yeah, it's a good option. Either of these are really strong options if you want to self-petition. These visas do not require employers. The other thing to keep in mind for the NIW is that it is also faster than the normal EB2 visa track. You don't have to go through the perm process. You don't have to go, that whole recruitment, that whole Department of Labor process, which really takes years. So you could shave years off your processing by choosing the NIW or the EB1A as well. Very quick. And please let me know if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to contact my office or email us. I'd be happy to answer your questions, and let me know as well if you're finding these lives and webinars useful, and if there's a particular topic that you'd like me to cover in my next one. Thank you so much for attending. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.